and welcome to another episode of Writing in Cars with Books. I'm Jaclyn.
Phillip.
What's so funny?
You and your pouting.
Today, we're going to be discussing The History of Everything by Victoria Evans. It is a young adult book published by HarperAlley, the imprint that is wonderful. Graphic novels. And Philip wanted to read this because the girls are drawn with flat heads.
I like the art.
The art's great. But first, I'm going to tell you what it's about. Daisy and Agnes have been besties forever. That's all they've ever needed or wanted. So when Agnes's mom dropped the bombshell
Dun dun dun.
that they're moving away at the end of the summer, the girls are crushed. All seems lost until the pair unearth the history of everything, which is an old friendship scrapbook with the ultimate bucket list to make their last summer together unforgettable. But when Daisy starts dating a charming drummer, her social calendar suddenly has less room for her best friend. Insecurities bubble to the surface, and Daisy and Agnes begin to question if their friendship is meant to last the summer, much less forever. In this coming-of-age graphic novel debut, Victoria Evans delves into the heart of a best friendship and explores what it means to grow up without growing apart. That sums it up pretty great.
Yep. All right, that's it. Thanks.
That's the video.
Thanks for coming to the TED Talk.
Yeah. So, first question.
Okay.
What were your overall thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you hate it?
Yes, I hated it. I hate so much.
I hated everything about the history of everything. Just kidding.
No, yeah, I actually enjoyed the book a lot. I mean, it's a common theme between friends, and once again, I say these a lot in this, but it really stands out because it all comes back to a communication issue where people just refuse to talk to each other.
I know, and they're best friends. They should talk to each other.
Right, they're best friends. They refuse to talk, but it's real life, though. That's the point, right? Like, the point is real life because people just refuse to talk, right? They just want to assume or just attack or whatever, and it just turns into one thing after the other.
Yeah, Agnes really wanted her summer with Daisy, and Daisy had, her first crush, her first boyfriend, so things got a little wishy-washy, but very relatable because this happens to most girls. Most girls.
Yeah, that I know I wouldn't know. I didn't grow up as a girl.
Well, good to know.
But I can, I understand.
But look how handsome he is.
I think the interesting thing in here is they both have their own little quirks, right? Like, Daisy is kind of goth, and so
they both are. What are you talking about?
I mean, she's probably a little bit more because of the way she dresses and
her name
makeup.
Is Daisy.
I understand that,
but she looks like this.
She was named after her grandmother.
Yeah, they're both goth.
Right, and so they've only really had each other for a long time because there's a few scenes in there that point that out because it's like, oh, look at the weirdos, right? And so people get used to that, so they had each other. And then that's a part of it too, right? Like, one of them actually gets a boyfriend or like another friend. And
someone who sees her besides her best friend.
Right. And then the communication stuff comes in because Agnes doesn't assume, she doesn't like what's going on, but instead of talking about it, she wants to hang out with her best friend, so she just agrees.
Yeah, she's third wheeling. She wants to be happy for Daisy, but she also is struggling because she's like, we had all these plans.
And it's the last summer together. Like, that's the additional part to this.
She's literally moving away.
I think 12 hours away.
And the scrapbook is things that they have once done together when they were younger and they want to do again before she leaves.
Or some of it
things
was what
that
they didn't finish, right?
they never got to do when they were younger, they've always wanted to do and they've never had time for. So now it's, let's make time for it, but then plans change as always.
I mean, at the core of it, they're both high schoolers, right? and they're both inconsiderate of each other as friends because, once again, they take their friendship for granted. Both
Yep.
of them do, right?
Yep.
Because one won't communicate. Well, neither one's communicating.
And Daisy's philosophy is that, well, I'm going to have to make new friends when you're gone, so why don't I just make new friends now?
And see, and that's, I find that's really the core, for me, that's the core of this book, is they're both angry.
They're both
angry at the world because their best friend is getting ready to be gone,
Mhm.
and they're handling it different ways.
Yeah.
Like Agnes is pushing her mother away, which the way the book is set up is her and her mother have somewhat of a decent relationship. But once this bombshell gets dropped, it's like their relationship
She's mad
starts.
at her mom.
Yeah, she's mad at her mom. Agnes is mad at the world, and then it just kind of carries over to her friend. And they're both handling that news.
Yeah,
their own
Agnes's
way.
mom is like a workaholic, and she thinks this move will bring her closer to her daughter because she'll be working less. She found a job that's less.
Well, she's a single mom taking care of her.
Yeah.
You know, and so
I like the like when the text bubbles become the text bubbles become like text messages, and they're like texting each other all the time. But the art is great. It's not all dark, but like their hair colors are dark and their clothes are dark. But and sometimes they're watching movies, so they're in the dark. But it's not necessarily a dark.
Whoa, yeah. Hang on.
Sun.
Here, show it really quick. Soon as we
They're
get around
not
this corner.
necessarily. They're not. No. It's not necessarily a dark book with all dark colors, but there's like greens and blues. I mean, like one of them has red hair, one of them has purple hair, and then she dyes it blue. But I love the art.
No, the art in this book is
her
great.
style is very unique, and if you look at her author photo, Daisy looks a lot like the author.
When I saw the author photo, I'm sitting there going, well, obviously Daisy was drawn after her.
Yeah. So this was probably a very relatable story to write too, I would imagine. But like as a high school girl once in my past, I can definitely relate to the story. I didn't have any friends move away, but we have many friendships crumble because of boys. So.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think, like, once again, I did not grow up as a teenage girl, but I do watch a lot of things with girls in it, and it seems
you're basically a teenage girl now,
right?
Just because you didn't grow up as one.
Yeah, it seems like it all seems very relatable in how friends act each other, and even adults today act toward each other. Once again, this is a book of how and why I love middle grade graphic novels.
Young adult.
Or whichever, whatever. It's all the same to me. Sorry.
It's a very character-driven story. It's very relatable. Not necessarily a lot happens, but a lot happens.
It takes place in 3 months. The whole book takes place in 3 months. Right.
So it's really the summer of everything. No, I really liked it. I mean, I didn't have any expectations going in, but it exceeded what I maybe did think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the art, and I'm like, I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to like the characters.
But it's
and I did.
funny,
I like both characters.
to me, because some of the other characters are drawn with not flat heads. And I think the two main characters are really the only ones with flat heads. And I think that's
so, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it's just, well, I think he does too, right?
His head is kind of flat, but that's how his hair falls.
It's how his hair is, yeah.
I mean, that makes sense too. He's a secondary character, but everyone else, like the mom and the sister, they don't really have flat heads, and I think that's an interesting choice. Maybe it's the part down the middle. The part down the middle hair, that's so cool now. The side part's out. When you part your hair down the middle, you have a flat head.
Maybe.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, once again, I think anyone can read this book and relate to it in some form, whether in their teenage years or probably even in their adult years.
Yeah.
I mean, even as adults, right? For some reason or another, we lose friends.
Yep.
Whether it's a boy or a girl or
just hiding things
from them or not hiding things, and people just grow apart because of some tiff, and instead of having a conversation, it's easier to avoid.
Yep, avoidance.
Right?
So much easier. His name is Noah. Call him Noah.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, yeah, it's.
This is a big fight scene.
Dun dun dun. I don't know
Because
if you actually showed anyone the big fight scene.
because Daisy lied to Agnes about where she was.
Oh yeah, that helped the situation
Oh
a lot.
yeah, it escalates. I didn't know it was gonna have a happy ending because they were not getting along.
Does it have a happy ending?
No. I'm gonna show you the last page, okay? Spoiler
alert.
Agnes moves away, which we already knew was gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, it's not really about whether she moves or doesn't move. It's about
how they end their friendship.
Correct.
Or not in their friendship, but in their summer together.
Correct.
Is what I meant to say.
Well, I mean, once again, it could be how they end their friendship too.
Friendships.
Where is their friendship at the end of this book and this end of the summer? Because they basically have it set up where they don't see each other for like 3 weeks.
I cried. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So Daisy ends up giving her the book, and she
Anyway, the book is awesome.
She put extra pages in the back called Agnes's New Adventure, and it's a checklist of what she needs to do once she gets settled. Call Daisy once a week, decorate my new room and send pictures, get a new library card, very important.
Yep. And the Twizzlers was my favorite thing, the licorice.
She's covering up the first word in the next one.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Agnes's favorite snack is Twizzlers.
Oh yeah, there's Twizzlers and there's little photos.
Yeah. So
that's how it ends.
But I'm sure if you read it, it's very relatable for you.
Yeah, it's great. Even if you're not a goth girl falling for a record store guy, it's very relatable.
It is pretty funny, actually.
I highly recommend it. And I can't wait to see what Victoria Evans works on next.
Yeah, because I mean, from a writing perspective, the writing was well done. I did like that. I will say one of the things I liked about her writing is her writing, the words, the lettering. There we go. Phew, words are hard. The lettering was done based on how the person would be talking. So sometimes someone would talk really fast. So she put all the words together. So they'd be like a word balloon and all the words would be together.
I don't remember.
Be like, what are you doing? Yeah, it happens a couple of times in there.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's little things like that that I enjoy, where it's that way you're reading it and you can kind of get that inflection that urgency or the speed of someone's talking when things are going on. So yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the author and her influences and why she did things in this book will make complete sense. She loves historical fashion, vampires, and all things gothic horror. So do her characters.
Yeah. So she is Daisy, as we thought.
I'm pretty sure she's Daisy. So, again, this is The History of Everything by Victoria Evans. It is a young adult book published by HarperAlley. It came out in January 2025. But check it out from your library, your local comic shop, whichever. Highly recommend it. Okay, that is all.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.